My name is Jesse Reynolds. I'm a Paralympic swimmer for New Zealand. Been competing on the international stage for 12 years now. I'm 27 and on my way for training towards World Champs and Paris Paralympics. I've had a big switch up in terms of how I've been training. I've moved back to Hamilton from Auckland. I wanted to be closer to family and progress more with my life outside of swimming recently. All things seem to be heading in the right direction, and so I'm really hoping that World Champs and the Paralympics are the same.
Right.
What are we having? We met in high school. Jesse had just finished his last year and we went to a mutual friends batch for New Year's out in Whangamata and yeah, hit it off and been together ever since.
Good chopping.
Thank you.
I think training here has actually made quite a positive impact on our time together. Down in Hamilton, I'm training with a squad which trains at 5:30 in the morning. So obviously early starts for me, but it means so we've got more time to spend together. You're a big fan of the 5 o'clock alarm though, eh?
Mm. I don't really mind it because I get to go back to sleep.
I assume you want half of this?
1/3. You just have to buy a lot of food because Jesse eats a lot of food.
We get a food box now and we get the meals for 4 people and that feeds me and Grace.
It's 3 people, 1 person, yeah.
Get a bit of sauce on there.
Yeah, I don't want too much.
In the past, my diet was a lot stricter. That's just another part of what I've changed about my career over the last few years. As far as the finer details of what I can and can't eat, I'm far more relaxed now and I'll eat just about anything.
It actually is quite good.
And that makes our life easier as well as keeps me happy.
Yeah.
Person who flows start's got to wait for them to come past, and then with your fins on, you've got to try and catch them.
I'm basically trying to be the best able-bodied swimmer in my club. Obviously I'm not able-bodied, but trying to compete with those guys is really making me up all of my weaknesses.
I think right now Jesse's a real professional. He knows what he needs from his body, he knows what he needs to do to get himself right on the day. Take your marks! Up!
Having one leg changes a lot of things in swimming because asymmetry plays a massive role in trying to get through the water quickly. So a lot of what we do is working on strengthening core and getting my leg to be as stable as possible, which is still a challenge and is something we work on a lot.
Nice, 14.5 and rating 50 again. It's good, nice job today on those.
In a lot of respects, para-athletes are working just as hard, if not harder, than able-bodied counterparts because we've got a whole bunch more variables to deal with in order to be at the top of our game in sport.
That does count.
Well, we have a big family. We have 6 children between us. So I had 2 kids before Jesse. Neil had 1. Then Jesse came along and he became our together. And we had 2 more. So Jesse's the middle child. Oh, Jesse and his cross country. Look, what did I write? Determination. He would do anything that he wanted to do, right from a little tacker. You know, it didn't matter that he was crawling, running, walking, whatever, he did it in his fashion.
There's his bucket.
He was so proud when he could stand on that bucket.
He didn't want to let his disability affect him at all.
So when he was born and the first time he stretched out, one leg went all the way to the end and the other leg finished here, halfway. So here we are, that was his little foot. Basically at 11 months old, we were told, now's the time we have to make a decision on what are we going to do. He gave us 2 options. One of them was to do an amputation. So they took away his foot and his ankle and gave him a stump. And the other one meant you actually took the whole foot and rotated it 180 degrees. That would mean his ankle joint became his knee joint, the equivalent of a knee joint. But He also pointed out that it would be the one thing that would make him look more different. We went with the amputation because he showed us a photo of somebody that had had this rotation, and he was 18 and had a backward facing foot which included hairy toes and a big foot that was still sitting there, and I'm thinking, no, he'd be happier just to be having a stump. You put on a leg and away you go. It was a hard decision, an extremely hard decision, but it was very much the right decision at the time.
Yeah, well, it meant that he could get on with his life. I'll never forget when he was having a fitting for his prosthetic leg at the limb centre here, and he said, you know, this kid's a winner.
I was always trying to compete with my friends in everything I did, but when you're trying to do sports, the majority of sports involve running. And when I had prosthetics when I was younger that didn't bend, they were quite clumsy to get around with. And so it was a bit of a struggle to compete with my peers. It just happened that there was a school swimming sports one year.
He'd given me his leg and he then had to hop down to the start line. And there's all these row of kids in front of me and they're talking about this boy's got no leg. Did you see him? And as he starts swimming, they said, he's swimming faster than the other guys. Diving in, then off he goes. And he won his event. These children that had just watched this one-legged swimmer were blown away. And I was this hysterical mother on the sideline, you know.
And so for me, that was when it clicked. No one had to give me an advantage or anything or worry about the fact that I had one leg. I just got in with all the other kids and beat some of them. And so it was there that I got pretty hooked. We tried to find the best coach we could, and so we started working from there.
He still has that dream, even knowing he's got to swim harder than he's ever swum before to be able to get anywhere close to that top three.
We've been over in Mallorca now for just over a week and we've been really enjoying it here. There's not a hell of a lot else going on. It's mostly just purely focused on swimming, which is really good. It really helps to kind of shift the mindset into something that's far more serious and all out than normal training back home.
This is it. Room for the next 3 weeks. Yeah. Don't look at the mess.
We spend a lot of time together when we're away at these training camps. We're not quite like the wealthiest nations where everyone gets their own room and their own space and everything. Our team's really cool. We've got a good bunch of younger guys coming through as well, which has been nice. I'm feeling really good about World Champs. The big thing for me is going to be able to see that I'm still competitive on the world stage after the move back to Hamilton and decreasing my training load. Part of the reason why we go to Mallorca is the heat. It just makes general living a little bit more difficult, more strenuous on your body.
So he's got you going 3.5 today.
Easy. I'm 27 now. Swimmers tend to peak early 20s to mid 20s now. Sometimes you can get the odd exception which can go later, but yeah, realistically this has got to be it for me.
29, 28.
Simon was my coach for a whole Tokyo cycle. He's an amazing coach, an amazing guy. He's just able to always be so positive.
That's a better one. 14.5. Yeah, I put a shirt. Yeah, we put shirts on, so we wanted to look smart.
How you going, all right?
Yeah, going pretty well.
Yeah, good session again this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier in the morning to do the fast stuff. Yeah. Jesse's heavily involved in his own program, and then Matt comes up with what he's going to do, and then I can kind of interject with a few ideas and really make sure that Jesse's getting the best to improve in the next 10 days that we're here. This morning, Jesse did a backstroke set. He went the same time as Commonwealth Games, but with a lower stroke count. So that's kind of what we're looking for.
Trying to be as symmetrical as possible is a really big deal. And a lot of that comes down to your strength. You want to be just as strong on one side as the other so that you're not pulling asymmetrically. And so we do a lot of work in the gym. But I also do a lot of work in the gym with my leg on to try and strengthen this side as much as possible.
We haven't really seen much. I've wandered down to the local shops twice, I think. Otherwise, we're just trying to conserve energy and rest and recover before training the next day. It can get fairly boring. I mean, training camps in general are pretty monotonous.
Oh yeah, that's the reason we're here. Yeah. Take away all the distractions, take away work, and literally they are just swimming and resting. There's nothing else for them to do.
The men's 100-metre backstroke.
Another reason that Tokyo was so difficult for me was because it was supposed to be kind of my redemption competition from the Rio Paralympics cycle before.
A few days out from the event to start, he said, I've had a fall and I've broken my leg. Jesse slipped in the wind and the wet outside their accommodation, and it turned out he'd broken both bones and his short leg.
There's a 99% chance that it was going to be just fine, but it would hurt like hell. But there was also a 1% chance that I could displace it so badly I wouldn't be able to wear a prosthetic anymore. I ended up PBing my 100 backstroke heat and making the final, PBing that again, and did the same thing in the 100 flyweight.
Pain is a very important part of being an athlete. Figuring out how to push past pain barriers and ignore your body when everything's telling you to stop. So a large part of what I do is making sure that I'm in the right headspace and able to tolerate as much pain as possible.
$14.1, $17.1.
That hurt way too much for 100. It's a very strange and unique thing to be able to actually push your body to its limits.
And so that's kind of the test for me in Manchester.
In that last 25 metres, that's when it really starts to hurt and when you see who wants it the most.
Safely into that final.
I swam just as well as Tokyo here off the back of a lot less training, so I'm still pretty positive about it. There's just going to be a few key things which I'll change in the build-up to Paris. My whole career I've had things that have gone well, things that haven't. Can't guarantee outcomes. Sometimes you work as hard as you possibly can and you still don't get there. And yeah, it's heartbreaking. But that put me within the top 6 in the world, and so that will give New Zealand part of a slot going into Paris. Definitely looking at the few different things to change for the build up to Paris to make sure that we're in the best shape possible.
We really are pleased that Jesse's doing another Para Games. I think he's got unfinished business, and I think he feels that way as well. But his passion, his determination has been his drive.
Our main focus in terms of the difference from World Champs through to Paris is going to be to increase my sprinting capabilities.
One of our key targets is for him to go faster in the first 50, so that when he races, he can swim at a faster speed, but do it without exerting any more energy, so that he's got more effort to put onto the second 50 there. Nice job, Jess. 14.2. Better off the start. Yeah, look, I'm really excited for Paris. It's going to be a fabulous Games. We're getting pretty close now. I think it's just a great opportunity for him to once again showcase what he can do. And I mean, obviously, he's probably an Olympic medal that he'd probably like, you know, would be a dream of his. Take your marks. Up.
I've got high expectations for myself. I'm very excited to see what I can do, and so there's a lot riding on it for me. This has been another 4-year block of my life, essentially, building up to one event. So of course it's stressful, it's nerve-wracking.
He's had good years, he's had bad years, and he knows that, like everything going right doesn't always mean that he gets the result, and everything not going right, he can still come and get the result. So that makes him someone who, in the kind of competitive environment, is probably pretty dangerous for competitors because not too much is going to rattle him.
I feel like I've been really lucky being born with one leg. It's essentially been the only thing that I've known. I have no idea whether, if I had both legs, whether I would be a top-level able-bodied swimmer. If anything, it's given me a lot of opportunities and the ability to go travel the world and do something that I enjoy. And so, yeah, I find it hard to want to reverse that just to have a second leg. There's so many different paths that life can take, and I'm pretty happy with the one I'm on now.